This is TomoNews for Thursday, August 31st. Houston businessman turns furniture stores into Hurricane Harvey shelters. As Hurricane Harvey pounded Houston over the weekend, a local businessman selflessly opened up his 2 furniture stores to families in need of refuge. Jim McInvale, also known as Mattress Mack, welcomed hundreds of people into his 2 gallery furniture stores on Sunday night after seeing the devastation left by Harvey. He told NPR, "When the hurricane first hit down here, I thought this was going to be a one-day event. Then I came into work the next day and I saw the devastation of the entire area and decided it would be best if we opened this 100,000 square foot furniture store as a shelter." He also sent his furniture gallery trucks out into the flood to look for any people in need of a lift. Mattress Mack now has about 400 people in his 2 stores, where he's serving them 3 square meals a day. Mack thinks it'll run around $30,000 to $40,000 to keep the stores going through the relief effort. He told CBS, "We can afford that, and what we can't afford is to cause people to lose hope. We got to give them hope. That's what my parents would have done. We tip our hat to you, Mack, and also send our prayers to the people of Houston." Oh, Lord have mercy. A Houston megachurch has finally opened its doors to Hurricane Harvey survivors, but only after a social media backlash. Senior pastor Joel Osteen, who, by the way, is worth $50 million, had previously refused to shelter flood victims at his 16,000 capacity Lakewood church. According to Osteen, there was no room in the inn. That left some people wondering if the evangelist cult, a church, was only good at providing shelter from taxes. Osteen earlier insisted the church couldn't accommodate survivors because the building was flooded, but not just with all the cash from the suckers who usually attend. But prosperity preacher Osteen has made a U-turn, and survivors are now welcome. So was it God who changed his mind, or Twitter? Guess the answer to that really depends on just how gullible you are. If you don't know the answer, send 10% of your salary to us right here at TomoNews every month, and we'll lead you to righteous salvation. Tree-killing beetles set to invade northern U.S. and Canada. A recent study shows a warming climate has expanded tree-killing southern pine beetles' habitats and forests in the northern U.S., which means southern Canada could soon be ravaged by the pests in the coming decades. The southern pine beetle, one of the world's most aggressive tree-killing insects, has typically only lived in Central America and the southeastern United States. Thousands of adult beetles can attack a tree in just 2 months by carving S-shaped tunnels under the bark. It is predicted that the beetles should gradually spread north along the Atlantic coast all the way up to Canada's Nova Scotia. By 2080, the pest could infest red and jack pines, which extend across more than 270,000 square miles in the US and Canada, which is roughly the size of Afghanistan. According to the U.S. Forest Service, infestations of pine beetles have cost an estimated annual timber loss of $100 million from 1990 to 2004 in the southeastern U.S. Don't kiss your pet turtles, okay? Pet turtles are being blamed for causing an outbreak of human Salmonella infections in 13 U.S. states. 37 people from 13 states have been infected with Salmonella agbeni that's been linked with pet turtles. According to the CDC, all turtles carry Salmonella bacteria, even if they look healthy and clean. The bacteria can even end up in the water they swim in. Kissing the turtles or placing them near the mouth can contaminate humans with the bacteria. The FDA has banned selling and distributing turtles with shells less than 4 inches long as pets since 1975. The CDC also recommends that households with young children should not keep turtles or reptiles as pets. Hurricane Harvey puts Houston residents at risk of deadly diseases and snake bites.
Everybody back safe.
As if having their homes destroyed by Hurricane Harvey this week wasn't enough, Houston residents now have a whole nother set of problems to deal with. Some of these are deadly and some may well even bite. Houstonians impacted by the flooding may be at risk of bacterial infections, several diseases, as well as snake and insect bites. Open wounds exposed to Houston floodwaters put people at risk of contracting bacterial infections such as tetanus, and even the sometimes deadly skin infection Vibrio. Experts warn that instances of mosquito-transmitted viruses such as Zika and dengue fever may rise in the aftermath. Another health risk Houstonians could face is bites from displaced venomous snakes. And that's just scraping the surface of what dangerous wildlife may be roaming the streets. The area is also home to bobcats, coyotes, foxes, and alligators. Where will all that water go? Hurricane Harvey has released 14 to 15 trillion gallons of water on top of Houston since last Friday. And although the storm has left the city, the catastrophic flooding continues. Despite being flat and prone to flooding, Houston lacks a high-tech drainage system and relies on slow-moving creeks or streams called bayous to empty its floodwaters. The city's 10 bayous typically flow from west to east before going through the Houston Ship Channel into Galveston Bay in the Gulf of Mexico. The Addicks and Barker reservoirs were built in the 1940s to help contain floodwater. But the Addicks has been pushed past capacity, and the Barker may soon overflow as well. Given the speed and volume of the rainfall, surface soils become saturated quickly and are soon too full to take in any more water. This is made more difficult by the less absorbent concrete and asphalt that cover the city. Water cannot evaporate quickly either, given Houston's humid climate. And with slowly receding floods already soaking through items and property, the damage may be long-lasting. No one currently knows how long it will take for the floods to drain completely, with experts estimating it could take anywhere from a few days to possibly even weeks. Drivers form human chain to rescue man from SUV. As Harvey continues to pound parts of Texas, leaving more than 50,000 people looking for places to sleep, stories have been coming out of some incredible rescues. A viral video of drivers suddenly forming a human chain to rescue an elderly man from rising floodwaters kind of gives you hope for humanity. In the footage, the man is seen trapped in his SUV, with water quickly rising around him on a completely flooded interstate. Good Samaritans quickly jumped to action and instinctively formed a human chain. After a tense few minutes, they reached the vehicle and worked on getting the man out. This story has a good ending. The man was pulled to safety and taken to the hospital, where he was reunited with his son. The U.S. Coast Guard said on Wednesday it had saved more than 940 people from floodwaters around Houston, and that brings the total rescued by all agencies to 4,500. Oh yeah, and 113 pets were saved too. Houston, we have a problem. Life-threatening floods devastated Houston following record-breaking rainfall from Hurricane Harvey. Here's how it got so bad. Houston's proximity to the Gulf Coast makes it susceptible to storms. It's also flat and prone to flooding, since the water has nowhere to go. The city once had wetlands that acted as sponges to absorb excess water. But urban sprawl meant that much of the green spaces have been covered with concrete, which is more water resistant. There are stormwater drains to catch the flow of rainwater, but these are largely outdated and cannot handle high volumes. Building regulations in Houston are also not as strict, which leads to many flood-prone residential structures being built in flood zones. Some experts believe climate change may have also worsened Hurricane Harvey. And with worsening weather in our future, Houston's situation emphasizes the need for stricter flood control measures, especially in coastal cities.